starting in verse 8. So let me get with you to Revelation 2 and verse 8. And I wrote my first observation. Only Jesus understands all of our struggles. Chapter 2, verse 8. And to the angel, the messenger, angelos of the church of Smyrna, write, these things says the first and the last who was dead and came to life. If you were living in Smyrna, do you know what you would have on your mind? You'd have on your mind that the current emperor, whose name was Domitian, had found your city to be one of the most favorable cities in the empire. It's the city of Izmir today. It's a beautiful city. And Domitian had sent over one of his statues, and they got special favors in the empire. In other words, they would build more structures for them from the treasury. They'd help their water supply. They'd help their roads if they would become an emperor worship center. Domitian sent a statue for them to put up and worship him. And so the whole town was under this empire edict to worship the emperor. It was dangerous. In fact, their pastor was burnt alive, tied to a stake, because he wouldn't bow. So, I mean, this was a dangerous place to be. So you know what Jesus said? Jesus describes himself as he who is dead and alive. They were facing fatal persecutions. Jesus knows what we're facing, and he says, I want to help you through that. Do you understand how touching that was to them? He wrote to them and he said, hey, I know what you're thinking, and I have already been killed for the sake of the gospel, and I am alive. Don't worry. Don't fear, is what he says to them. Secondly, Jesus, look at verse 9. I know your works, your tribulation, your poverty, but you're rich. And I know the blasphemy of those who say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. The blasphemy of those. This church was being persecuted, partly blasphemed. They were what we would call verbally abused, okay? Jesus says, I know your financial pains. I know your emotional pains. I even know when people verbally abuse you. Most of us don't even think about that. We don't think. But do you remember going to school and on the playground how mean the kids were? Do you remember at lunch how they wouldn't let you eat with them if you weren't cool? And they said mean things about you on the bus? Did any of you do any of those things? I remember growing up, and they were mean on the bus. They were mean in the classroom. They were mean in the lunchroom. Jesus is our greatest sympathizer, and he knows all that.